But no, we,
Where is that?
it was super.
That's funny.
Okay.
Yes, sir.
I'm all set.
Okay, I'll call this Town of Vinalhaven Board of Selectmen meeting to order for Tuesday, July 1st, 2025. Roll call, Tom Anthony, Ladd Olson, Peyton Warren, Leslie Dyer, myself, Elizabeth Bunker, and Marjorie Stratton. Well, you get written down after.
You get honorable mention.
Right.
Number 2, approve agenda.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Number 3, approve the minutes from the June 17th, 2025 meeting.
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Approve and sign treasurer's warrants number 52A and number 1.
So moved.
So there's
Second.
4 of them.
Yep,
Did
Yes.
everybody get?
yep, I think we're all
Are
set.
we all signatured? I think we are.
I don't know, I know I signed it.
I think it looks like it. Yeah.
You can't
That one
tell
good?
who signs because you can't read their signature.
You can read mine.
That's plausible deniability, read.
Oh, don't sit down, Tom.
I know, I felt that it wasn't there.
Wow. These damn chairs, I tell ya.
Now it's a 4.
Okay, moving on. Number 5, communications.
Thank you. I don't have anything.
Okay. Number 6, speakers from the floor.
Crickets.
Seeing none.
Crickets.
Number 7, committee and departmental reports and appointments. 7A, appoint municipal officers. Have somebody look through these.
Does that have the? So this has appointing me as code enforcement officer
Interim.
And plumbing inspector.
and plumbing
interim.
inspector
Yeah.
as interim because it just seemed problematic to the planning board. I mean, I suggested doing it that way because that's what the attorney said and that's what the law allows the select board to do. But it seemed easier if I was just appointed as interim code enforcement and LPI and then just get any assistance that I need in order to do that job. And I've done it before, so anyway, hopefully we'll get some bites on the advertisements for a new person.
Yeah, good luck. So I would make a motion that we accept the list of municipal officers to be, is it reinstated or?
Appointed?
Appointed for the year 2025, 2026.
Second.
All in favor? B, board and committee appointments and resignations.
You're gonna talk about the, okay.
There's 1, 2, 3, 4 letters that accompany that list.
I have
2
3.
letters of interest. Nope.
Oh, wait a minute, hold on a
1, 2,
second.
3 letters of interest and 1 resignation.
Right, I don't know where
What's the resignation?
the waste watcher. Where the heck is Chelsea? Oh, there it is, okay. All right, first of all, we have, let's do the resignation. Waste Watchers Committee member resignation from Lise, I think it's Lise, right? Yes, Lise Kirk. She wants to resign from the Waste Watchers. Her accompanying letter is there. So make a motion that we accept her resignation.
Second.
All in favor? Okay, the next one is the Planning Commission. And it is a letter of interest from Marcia Cleveland. She would like to be appointed to the planning commission. I make a motion that we accept her.
What's her term, do we look at it?
3?
There's an open
I think
slot.
there are
assume.
3-year terms.
Yeah.
There is an open spot.
There is?
Yep,
There's a,
Planning commission?
there's two
committee.
boards, so it'd be to 27, Elizabeth?
unless it's an existing, yeah, 20, you can fill that one, yep. There's 3 vacancies, 2 that run out in 2026 and 1 that runs out in 2027.
So her term will be
Planning
through
commission right here.
2027?
It's not on.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, it's just,
This list was
She
just
wrote us
people
a
that are running
letter.
out.
Okay,
yeah.
all right. I felt like I was listening.
No.
Just like,
So there's an open slot that,
Yes.
and the longest term would be 2027.
Yes.
Yeah.
I'll zoom in on it right here, planning commission,
Oh, yeah, that's how.
26 and 27.
Okay, so I would make a motion that we
No
accept
idea.
her,
She's a,
um,
I do her
Ask, I
landscaping,
guess,
she's
to
a
be-
lawyer from, she's in half New York, she's been a lawyer in New York for 5 years. Yeah, and then she's been a lawyer up here for 5 years.
They have own the house across from Paul Warren's on Barton's Island,
Oh, okay. Yep.
at the
the
end
White
of
House.
Granite Island, that's what I wanted.
Yep. I know the name of the house, and the people that owned it when I was a kid, and it's right there on the tip of my tongue, and you think.
Yeah, that one, right
Think
there,
I can remember it?
It's Alethea, Alethea
Alethea
McDougal.
McDougal,
McDougal.
Yeah.
Nice teamwork.
I remember her.
she's a sweetie.
Old Morris and Hilda lived there for a while. JB was, when my father was little, they were in that, I think they rented it probably. Back in the day. Yeah. You know,
Are you still reading?
Is that the only person that applied?
Yes. So, for a term of 3 years, is that what it is? And then 2 years?
This fills a term for 2 years.
Okay, ending in 2027.
Yep.
That was a motion.
Oh, second.
It kind of came out in pieces, because you guys started talking, and I don't know where I ended up, but,
Second,
okay, all in favor? Okay, thank you. And then library trustee, Wilson Boone would like to be appointed to the library board of trustees, and his letter is here. So I'd make a motion that we appoint him to that board for,
2028, it's a 3-year term.
3-year.
Pam Kittredge is getting off the trustees.
right, okay.
second.
All in favor? And then the last one is from Chelsea White. She would like to be appointed to the Ferry Tariff Committee.
Second?
So I make the motion that we, okay, sorry, Marjorie, did you have something? I thought you went to
And what
raise your
about
hand.
Shelby?
I don't know anything about Shelby.
She hasn't sent any,
She did send something, but I
She
guess
did?
I guess I was remiss in forwarding it on to
I didn't
Elizabeth.
see it, I'm sorry.
do you have it in the office?
It's in my computer.
I mean,
Oh, okay.
if Evan and Alan are getting off that, we have two.
Well, it's the tariff committee, not the advisory board, right?
Yeah.
Right.
It's the
Right.
tariff,
Yeah.
right. So,
Want me to go get it?
well, we could put her on right now if you want.
She did send me a request to be on that.
Okay,
Shelby good.
so,
Yes,
yeah,
Shelby
Smith.
Smith,
yeah,
sorry,
I
I
knew that.
assume.
that, she works for Vinyl Energy.
Yep.
Okay, so, do we do them both at the same time?
Sure.
Alrighty, then away we go.
Second.
All in favor? I can rely on our great note taker to write the motion as it should have been presented.
Piece it all together.
Yeah. And if you find any errors when the minutes come out, please take note. All righty.
Interpreter.
Yeah, good thing. I need one. Okay. And is that it for that? Okay, 7C, downtown projects.
But do we do a motion for all of them? Or-
Oh,
Sure.
yep,
Yep, let's do a combined motion for all the other
okay,
Renewals?
renewals.
Yep,
check
okay.
marks.
motion,
Second.
all in favor?
Thank you.
This is professional, that's as professional as we're gonna get on the motions.
That is very true.
I think we all know what we're talking about, so,
What?
as long as the minutes reflect.
There's one in every crowd, right? Yeah, that's the only thing.
In this case, it's 5 of us. All right, thank you. Oh, moving on then, we will move to downtown project Gabe.
All right. Hi, everyone. So we actually have some good news, progress and good news. Yeah. So, we had the bid openings for the drainage slash the stormwater, project, the water main project, and the roads and sidewalks, which also includes the elevation of the pump stations. So those are what we call the sewer climate adaptations. So all of that happened on June 26th. We received 2 bids for the drainage. The low bid was $2,158,810. We have a construction budget of $2,666, so it came in under bid, which is good. And then the water main, we had 1 bid for that. That came in at $6,045,735. Our project budget was 500,000, but the water district was able to borrow 723,000. So technically that is also under budget. And then the road and sidewalks and the pump station came in at 3,049,554, and we have $3,234,000. So that also came in under or within our budget, I should say. So all of these are very good things. The next step so I don't know if you recall from the first time we put it out to bid, but the protocol for the engineer is to do like a bid tabulation where they go through and check the bids and make sure they're to spec, and they sort of put all the numbers together next to their numbers that when they were pricing out the project, like how does everything compare? What does it look like? And from that, Woodard and Curran will give the town / select board their recommendations of how to proceed. So that's happening, and we should have those relatively soon. Brent and Kevin Trainer, one of the other engineers at Woodard and Curran, are coming out for a site visit on July 9th. And so the downtown project team will meet on the 9th to discuss those next steps and recommendations. And then the next piece would be to bring those to you and, have you make a motion on how to proceed from there. So it really comes down to, I think, likely, accepting the bids as they've been received. We just have to take a few more steps in order to get to that place. And actually, just to be fully transparent, like another piece of that is because there's only 2 bids and then 1 bid. Those types of things the funder might not be so keen on. They like to get 3 bids, so we just need to make sure we have full approval from the funder to accept. We don't think it's going to be an issue because they're under, it's like, they're within the budget. We've tackled this before and had the same problem of not as many bidders as we needed. So we tried everything we can, and this is the solution. And I think this is like the best it's going to get. So I really doubt they're going to make us change anything, but we still have to, cross that T, dot that I. So just so you know, like that's another thing that we have to do. And then of course the water district also has to, the water district board has to meet and approve, their portion of it as well. So, I think that's sort of like clarity around this phase one portion of things. I don't know if anyone has any questions before I go on to phase two. Okay. So, phase two, just a reminder, that's Northern Border Regional Commission, MDOT SHIP grant. There's a couple other small grants that were a part of that. One was a community action grant that we have already closed out. That was for planning. And then we have a main infrastructure adaptation fund grant that's going to support some of the construction of the additional, we're putting in like an additional retaining wall on the downtown parking lot wharf. So all of those different things combined to get us to that, the funding we needed for the phase two, which includes the boat launches, the reconstruction of both the parking lots, and see, the relocation of the water district building. So the water district building construction project went out to bid. That came in very high. Like, I think it was like 4 times what we had in our budget. Yeah, it was, and even, that's the kind of thing too, where like, even if you, thought you could get the money, you just never would pay that much for the building. Like, it's just not, it is totally, like, you look at it, that just seems so unreasonable. So that was again a situation of having one bidder, but also just way overbid. But the bidder was very willing to try to look at some alternatives, ways to cut costs. Now it's truly, I mean, none of us can really see how they can get it down to what we need it to be. Even if we're paying more than what was in our budget, but they're willing to try. So Woodard and Curran is working with them, just to try to see what they can come up with. So who knows? We might get it to something that is feasible. So Woodard and Curran is bringing some information back to us when they come on the site visit on the 9th. We'll be able to, talk it over, see what makes sense, and then move from there. It is likely, that we'll have to put that back out to bid, and maybe do it at a different time of year. It's just trying to get something that's a little more reasonable, and something that can actually fit within the money that we have. So anyway, that's that. And again, we would have to also know that the funder would accept one bid anyway. We don't know that for sure. So yeah, that's the water district building. I don't know if anyone has any questions about that. Okay. The other piece on phase two that we have put out to bid, just last week was the boat ramps. So both the boat ramps getting reconstructed, those went out to bid on the 25th of last month, and meaning June, and the closing is on July 4th. We do know there is a lot of interest in those.
July
It's a pretty
24th, right?
July 24th. Yeah, it's a pretty straightforward project, and we have heard even there's local interest. So if people know others that, are interested in it, the information is on the town website. And also, so who to email to get the bid package, or you can, contact Marjorie. She can give you the email address. Yeah, but we won't know any more about that one until July 24th. Yeah, so that's those are the updates. Again, the site visit from Woodard and Curran on, Wednesday, July 9th. They'll be out on the 8:45 and are going back on the 4:30. We will be having, that's a day when there's a pre-bid meeting for the boat ramp, project. So we'll be doing that at 10, having a downtown project team meeting to have those discussions about the project. We're doing a site visit on Main Street. And then, we are going to talk about another project, which I can give a quick update on, which is, the shore and harbor planning grant that we got to look at the, failing, I want to say failing crib work and dolphin, down at the, ferry terminal that is, the former ferry pen, or parts of the former ferry pen. So any questions on downtown project stuff? And I would assume you would like me to give updates on the other projects as well. Should I do that now?
Sure.
Yeah.
Okay, so that Shore and Harbor Planning Grant, what that was for was to get a preliminary engineering report that would enable us to find some solutions for, repairing, reconstructing, removing and putting something new in. So the old, crib work at the ferry terminal, those, cribs are failing. And also the, I can't remember exactly the
The wave-
terminology, the wave
wave-
attenuator. Yeah, so all of the wood paneling, like it's on the side of that, facing beams, that there's a lot of failed wood in there. So anyway, the town supposedly, like that's supposedly the town's, property. We're still trying to find proof of that, in documentation. But we started this project with that assumption, is that like that's town owned and the town is responsible for it. So, this preliminary engineering report has been produced by Woodard and Curran. There was some conversation with, the harbor master, both Jim and Pete, sea level rise and climate committee folks, and others, town staff involved in that conversation. So they're coming to present the final report, from 2 to 4 p.m. on, July 9th. And that report will then, enable the town to make some decisions, and pursue, grant funding if we want to address, the repairs that need to be done in order to keep that structure, standing and have integrity and serve as what it's supposed to be doing, which is being a wave break. Any questions about that? All right. I feel like I'm talking a lot and I apologize. I'm just trying to get caught up on the various projects. There's just two more, so bear with me. Bear with me. So just, I know, Marjorie and Pam had asked sort of like the status of the Net Factory Site Reuse Committee final report. And, the committee met on April 24th. And that was sort of like a final meeting, but we still hadn't come to consensus on all of the recommendations. So it's on me, why it hasn't happened yet, which is I've put together like a form to try to get consensus via email. That hasn't gone out to the committee yet. I've been in communication with the committee chairs and, am just about ready to send that out. But given that it's July, my best guess is that we probably won't see the final report, until September. And that's when they would be likely presenting it to the select board. So that's kind of where that's at. They have recommendations. One of them is, to continue the work with DEP at the site. And Marjorie, I don't know if that's something if the select board is in agreement with that, it's at no cost to the town to do that continued environmental testing, and DEP did recommend we just proceed with that. It's part of the brownfields grant that we have with them. And the committee seemed like they think that that would just be a good idea to get that testing done, because whatever happens there would just be good to have more information rather than less. So if everyone's in agreement with that, I think we should probably just proceed.
Yes, I agree, Dave. Marjorie?
Did we get a written report about their
Yeah.
DEP?
Yeah, we have that phase 2 report.
Could I just get a copy of that?
Yeah, of course. Yep. I'll send it to you, Marjorie. And
Thank you.
it'll be in the appendix 2 of the committee's final report too. It'll be part of that, but I'll get that to you. And then the last project that we have a grant for, which was one we just got this year, actually in May, Marjorie signed the contract for it. So this is a $75,000 planning grant to look at the Trotting Park and the Folly Pond roadway sections. So, we did the study for the meadow. That came back with an analysis and an alternative solution from Woodard and Curran. But we were thinking in order to pursue grant funding, it might make sense to look at that complete roadway, since the Trotting Park also floods. And then we know that the Folly Pond roadway floods, and that could be very problematic since you've got the freshwater supply or freshwater source there. So that $75,000 planning grant is basically to try to do additional study and alternative solutions for dealing with the roadway elevation in both those locations. So we have Marjorie and other town staff, and then the Sea Level Rise and Climate Committee folks. We met to talk about the engineering that we want to do there, because we need to put out a request for proposals or a request for qualifications for an engineering firm to work on that. It was decided that we would like to look at not just go with Woodard and Curran, but look at other engineering firms as well. So right now where that stands is we're sort of in that process. We're going to talk with some folks from Islesboro because they have a roadway project that they've been doing over the last few years, and have had some good success with the engineers that they've worked with and their whole process for how they did that project. And they're almost to the point of having they have a solution. They almost have completed engineering plans, and they're ready to actually put that project out. Well, they will be soon to put that project out for finding implementation funding for it. So anyway, we're going to talk to them, and hopefully within the next month we can put together a request for proposals or qualifications to try to find an engineering firm to work with for that project. So I don't know if anyone has any questions about any of those things.
Thanks, Gabe.
All right,
Gabe.
sorry to talk so much. You're all caught up though.
Okay, that's good.
Good information.
Thank you. Okay, moving on to 8, old business.
You
Oh, Public Works, I skipped right over
I don't know
you.
if I can follow, Gabe.
You don't, I know.
Maybe you weren't gonna be
I didn't
also
even-
mentioned.
I didn't even,
Right.
I figured you didn't have
Doesn't
anything to
seem
say.
I'm feeling
Millie.
this. I mean, not much to report, trying to stay afloat. I was talking to Marjorie earlier, I know, we still have a few places to grade. We've had a heck of a time with the wet weather. That should have been, way past us in April, May. Usually we have all the grading done by now, and I think I mentioned to you guys at the last meeting that, Crockett's River Road we were hoping it was dry enough, and we did it, 2 weeks ago, just about 2 weeks ago, and we tore it up in places because the grader was sinking right out of sight. So, I mean, it's just been a challenge to grade the roads. Nick has done a few of the ones that he can do by himself. on the side, Booth's Quarry State Beach, Coons Neck. And so we have Zeke's Point now. Cowboys Neck is done, but Zeke's Point we need to do, and a few other small roads. So I'm hoping we can get to them next week. I'll probably break up some of the crew from helping paving and get them on some of that. Paving's going well. Fridays we've been saving for grading potholes and whatever else comes up. And that's been working out okay. We did a bunch of weed whacking last Friday, along with a bunch of other stuff that you've seen in the reports, so, that's really about it. Paving's going along, I think it's coming out really nice, and knock on wood is going without any
Other than a few black marks.
burnouts, a few pitted places where, yeah, they tore it up, but.
We should stop doing that.
It's me. And I think the biggest thing is next year we'll be overlaying the whole thing. I just worry a little bit about it over the winter months, as it opens those surfaces up, but, all in all, I think things are going pretty well. So, we now have the old retired engine 4 that we're using on the paving project right now. As soon as we break free from that, we're gonna start flushing culverts, so. We'll see how that works.
And later on in the meeting, we'll be talking about getting the money in place that's been approved for the paving project.
You all set?
You done?
Questions? Okay. Now we'll move on to old business. Sign remote participation policy.
This is just signing what we approved at the last meeting.
Yep.
Got one
I
right
should
there.
say yes. Yes, thank you.
And that was just adding the one line under,
1A4.
while participating in approved educational programs. That was
Right.
just the one addition to the, that remote participation policy.
And we'll move on to 8B, airport lease.
So, I don't know how many of you were here when we were talking about it, but I just got this draft at like 4 o'clock tonight, so I'm not sure how much of it we want to try to get through. I have really haven't had any opportunity to look at it. I think some of the things are pretty simple answers. One question is about the deed, and I can just make sure that that's correct. And one question is about the lease term. I think we talked briefly about this, maybe making it more than 1 year. Do people have thoughts about that?
Well,
We had
seemed like it'd be easier to make it a little longer, but I don't know. I suppose after we get it all straightened out, we should wait and decide after we get the terms all
Yep,
agreed on.
Yeah.
makes sense.
just wait, or?
Yeah, I think I would like to see, there's a lot of things here that we need to look at before we
Sure.
make many decisions, but I would prefer to wait and decide that. What do you guys think?
I agree.
Yeah, that makes sense.
There was an old line in there about paying $1 a year.
Right.
The attorney suggested just taking that out.
The original one actually said $1 each month.
Oh, yeah, I remember that,
Is it okay if we just take that out?
sure.
I don't know, we probably kind of need that dollar, don't we?
just,
Help pay for the pavement.
Ready.
Why did the lawyer say to take that out? What?
Said, you've got that right there.
Oh.
Is it necessary for the Penobscot Island heir to pay $1 each month in rent? If not, the lease can simply require them to pay $1 at commencement of the lease. Oh, I see.
Oh, so this is taking it out of the month and just doing it $1 for the year,
Right, I was mistaken.
or term of the lease or whatever. Okay. That's what I was wondering, because I figured
Any
that has to be,
objection to that?
that should be some exchange of money, I'd think, so that's why I was wondering.
One of these.
Pam.
oh, I'm sorry, Millie.
No, just a question on that airport, so do they pay for the upkeep or the
Well,
material
that's in
or
this
anything?
lease.
Cause that's
And as I
something that's
said,
been
I-
kinda gray for me.
I just haven't had, I just got it at 4 o'clock from the attorney, so
Can we
I don't know if
have
we
time
could
to
just
just,
postpone.
can we have time to read it?
Oh, yeah,
We'll postpone this to the next meeting,
yeah, no, we're not gonna sign this tonight.
yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, we have to discuss things, I think.
I can send Millie a copy of it.
Yes, I can.
And I can take our
You know, red
copy
line
and make
it.
a red line with
Yeah.
his suggestions and send that out.
Okay,
Okay.
Thank you.
That combines everything into one, maybe cohesive document.
PDF.
Yeah.
Maybe just CC me that one. versus-
Well, I mean, yeah, I mean, it's solely responsible, the town is, for the maintenance and upkeep of the airstrip.
My question, Pam, was because they want special gravel, and I don't think it's extremely, I think it's,
It's gonna be pricey. Yeah, well, that's something that we're gonna have to discuss then.
and they don't want salt, just sand. And I mix all of it, so,
Yeah, no, that's understandable, I guess.
So just try to rework it so that we understand what the changes or additions, deletions are, and bring it back at the next meeting.
Sounds good.
Yeah, I say there's quite a bit there to think about. All right, well, we'll, move it forward. Get until next, well, we'll have the red line version next meeting, and then we can decide what we wanna do, but that, I mean, what, we really need to discuss.
Yeah, I'd really like to review it in more detail. Or at least have a chance to know what my questions are and what
Right.
things I need to bring up to the board.
Yep, absolutely. All right, so we'll table that for next time, okay. 9, new business. Liquor license renewals, Dot and Millie's, and the Sandbar.
They're just straightforward renewals.
You just do that, right?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah, just need your approval and then I can do
Yep.
them. Actually, I think you have to sign Lindsay's. But Don and Millie's did theirs, electronically.
Oh, okay,
So that's the page for Lindsay's.
okay. So do we make a motion
Yes.
for that?
I think you can do one motion for both.
Both, yeah, make a motion that we, approve the application for a liquor license for both, oh, it's okay, for both Dot and Millie's and the Sandbar.
Second?
All in favor? Okay. Oops, can't spell my name.
Who are you?
I record. Take a less. And I'm just gonna keep going if you guys don't mind, while you're signing. 9B, special event catering permit from the Vinalhaven Community Brewery.
And I think this is their same
Same thing as they had
Same thing as last year, the tasting, beer garden, they call it.
Oh, yeah, is that in this packet?
It should be. It might be on the back side of, don't know.
Oh, yeah. Nope, wait a minute. Oh, here it is.
Oh, yes, okay.
Seven. Oh, I'm sorry.
It's okay.
I was just looking at that. So I make a motion that we approve the application for the Vinalhaven Community Brewery to have their catering permit for a special event.
Second.
All in favor? 9B, land use ordinance review. Marjorie?
There isn't anybody here from the planning commission. I think I was remiss in making sure that they knew we were gonna discuss it tonight. And I think it's important that some of the planning commission members are here when we discuss it. Most of the revisions are mandated and boilerplate language from chapter 1000 of shoreline zoning. So that's probably, 95 to 99%. This is, we had the red line copies here. We didn't make a copy for each person, but certainly if you want one, we can provide you with one that has all of the changes in it.
There's one there.
Pam took it home and read, through all of the changes. I mean, I guess it's up to you if you want us to provide you with a red line version of all of the amendments. As I said, most of it is changes that are mandated by the state of Maine shoreline zoning, and we just haven't gotten that done yet. And it's from their chapter 1000. There are some other things in there that the planning commission has suggested, and again, I'm not recommending that we vote tonight because there's no one here from the planning commission to defend their amendments. One of the amendments has to do with the changing the purpose of the planning commission, the planning commission definition. In the land use ordinance, it's easier for me to look at mine. Oh, sorry. So it says, there is established a planning commission which shall have the purpose of preparing and reviewing changes to the comprehensive plan and to the land use ordinance within the town. The planning commission shall have all of the responsibilities of local planning committee as set forth in section 4324 of Title 30A of the Maine Revised Statutes. And then it just goes on to talk about the number of members, but the addition that they want to make is that the planning commission shall also have the responsibility of testifying before the Board of Appeals in cases where ordinance intent is determined by the planning commission to have been misinterpreted by the planning board. So I did get an opinion from Maine Municipal Legal, and they strongly advise against this amendment. I mean, the first thing that the attorney that I talked to said that it doesn't make any sense. It simply undermines the reason they exist. It's potentially problematic. The Board of Appeals only reviews the planning board action. They can't look at any additional information. And in addition to that, the planning commission members can attend any public hearing as a member of the public. So I would strongly suggest that we take that amendment out. Again, I think that we need to give the planning commission an opportunity to defend their proposed change. But I would strongly recommend against keeping that in, because it simply, it gives them the responsibility to override what the planning board decides, which is, it's not part of their job. Their job is to develop proposed amendments to the
Right.
land use ordinance and present them to the Board of Selectmen. The other thing,
Just to,
The-
I'm sorry,
Oh,
may I?
yeah, go ahead.
So if I'm reading what the legal opinion from Maine Municipal was, it's basically that should the planning commission member or members feel that the planning board misinterpreted the intent of the ordinance, they can attend the public meeting and speak from the floor
yes,
as a citizen,
Yeah.
rather than a member of the commission.
yes.
Yeah, okay.
And it says, and it's, I mean, the appeals, they review the planning board action. They
Oh, yeah.
don't, they're not gonna get new information to,
Right.
you know,
Yeah.
from,
Yeah.
to examine, so.
And the other piece that's not related to shoreline zoning was the piece that was added last November during those revisions about the demolition, adding that as a requirement. I wanted to revisit that. I know previously you, Tom, and I think Donald previously had objected to that after we made that amendment. And just administratively, we would like an amendment to say that we don't have to, if you leave it in, we don't really want to send notices to people within 500 feet. We would
Right.
like that reduced, because we had one demolition permit where we sent out, what was it, 60? So,
Yeah, maybe 60, 75
yeah,
postcards.
it seemed like overkill to us to have to send that many notices because somebody was tearing down a building. So, we could leave that section in so that people still are required to get a permit for a demolition, but just reduce the number of people that we need to send a notice to.
200 feet, right?
That would be our,
Yeah.
Remember what page it was?
I
on?
think-
don't have my.
I think we really need to be
on
thoughtful
40
about
the
this one,
46.
because
Yeah.
I would hesitate to remove it completely.
That was on 46
Because-
before it got bumped.
People,
demolition of, so it was
17.
46.
well, we went through the, last fall, what we went through.
Oh, I know.
Right here.
But I'm thinking of other people that own properties in town that aren't necessarily concerned with the state of their properties. They aren't here, they don't tend. They might just decide to raise a building with, and if there's no notification, this at least would give notice,
That
so
permit
every,
was issued.
right, so that would give you time to the 30 days or whatever it is.
Yeah, I agree.
You know, instead of just saying, bringing in a crane and start
Right.
the wrecking ball
Or
instead.
giving us like 4 days notice that it's gonna be done.
You know, I just think that people it would behoove us to make sure that people know what's going on if they're gonna tear down buildings.
I agree.
Lad?
I agree, why does it have to be like so many feet, why can't it just be like abutting
I
landowners?
was just gonna say that.
That was the other suggestion
Right.
that's come
Just
up.
that, like anything
Yeah.
else, you notify the abutters. and-
Yeah,
Uh,
Yeah,
Right,
whatever the right way, the proper way to do it, abutting or whatever. So, you know, that can be discussed, but Peyton?
Yeah, well, I'm if, the abutting properties is one thing, but also like, if they're doing the demolition on the road and blocking the road, would we notify the people on the end, like blocking the road and, like the dump, if they're gonna have
Mm-hmm.
like loads and loads of,
Materials.
materials?
I mean,
Lee,
that,
with the dumps concern, we've done that in the past where we've rejected,
yeah,
yeah,
Huge
you have that a huge amount, you do have to go say something.
We're actually trying to not allow as much of the, if somebody's taking down a house or a large building, it's probably in their best interest to get a trailer of their own, and because at the dump, it plugs everything up and you don't know what's in it. I mean, there's other things mixed in it that, you know, we shouldn't have or what have you. And also, I will say, Peyton, I agree with that. If somebody is blocking the road to load something onto a trailer or something to take it out of there, that should probably also come through the road commissioner, I would assume, to make sure that that's a doable thing.
so you wanna, you would like to, Marjorie, you would suggest that we send notice to the planning commission that we're going to take this up at our next meeting?
Yeah, I have to be more diligent about that. I did send a notice, but it was late, and the other person that, we might wanna have here is Dan DeBoard from the, Mid-Coast Council of Governments. He's the person that helped us, through this set of revisions. So if you had questions about the shoreland zoning revisions, you know, he would be a good person to ask about that. But meanwhile, if you would like one of the red line versions to read through it, certainly let us know, either me or Elizabeth.
If you could send me an electronic copy, that would be fine.
Oh, okay,
That'd be great.
yeah, that would be great,
Thank you.
yeah.
Okay,
No need to waste paper, I guess.
No,
yeah,
it's
no, I
98 pages or something like that, so,
just came up and borrowed the copy.
yeah,
Yeah, I
there's a
mean, you can
copy there if
come-
anybody wants
yeah.
to borrow it, or we have, yeah.
Okay, so we'll move on then. We'll move that to one of our, that Dan, what's his last name?
The board,
DeBoard. Would he wanna, you think he would wanna come out, Marjorie?
Might just zoom in,
Zoom, I mean.
Yeah.
Okay, that'd be
Yeah.
perfect, yep. Okay, thanks. All right, move on to 9D, resolution to borrow remaining paving funds approved on 1/22/2019.
So as we've discussed in our budget process, this amount of money, let's see, $750,000 was approved back in 2019, but the town only borrowed at that time $264,400 to do a paving project. So there is available another $485,600 under this approval to borrow, and that's what's our intention with this current project. So we've been using our reserve money as we counted on to start the project, but we need to get this money in place now to complete the rest of it.
So I will read the motion. I move that the resolution entitled Resolution Authorizing Issuance of $485,600 General Obligation Bonds for a Road Reconstruction and Paving Project be approved in form presented to this meeting, and that an attested copy of said resolution be filed with the minutes of the meeting. Second?
Second.
All in favor? And first review of transfer station fee proposal. And,
So we gave you a spreadsheet with the current fee, and then
I do not.
did I?
We don't have that.
I didn't think I saw that.
It's in here. I have it, it's just in the wrong folder.
You're holding out on it.
Nope, I don't have it, maybe I will give it to you, Marjorie. I can have it in 2 seconds.
you,
It's in here. Go away. Transfer station.
we did have it, yeah, we did decide to put it on the agenda.
Everything's so tiny.
Make enough so I can get one through. I'll go grab them.
Do you want a copy? Or
I do.
do you know how to operate that machine?
Well, she's
I'm just gonna send it.
just gonna send it, print it.
Oh, I see. Hey, Chuck. Well, I decided, well, I suggested that we wait until, more of the planning commission members can be here.
Sure.
like, to kind of defend some of the things that they wanted to put in, and, you know, I didn't think we should vote on anything, without, you know,
Sure,
planning commission members here.
fair enough,
And I'll make sure that everybody's notified that we'll do it, so it's 2 weeks from tonight, which would be,
Tonight,
17,
15.
15?
15.
yeah, so hopefully we can get it done that day,
Perfect.
and then, schedule the public hearings.
Sounds good, thank you.
Thank you, Chuck. Chuck is on the planning commission. If you didn't know,
Kind of random stuff in there.
Did you find it?
I did.
Oh.
It should be coming.
Okay. So we didn't, well, Millie and I sat down and looked at, what we spend, you know, to transport all of these things off of the island. We didn't, do anything with the per bag fee. It's something that we can consider if you like. I think tonight is sort of an initial discussion about some changes that we're proposing. So, we're not taking a lot of junk cars now because we don't have the room, but nevertheless, that proposed fee is $200. And we wanted to increase, just the disposal fee for tires, up to 16 inches, just from $3 to $4. And I guess if you have questions, you can just interrupt. The demo,
I have a question on that one. Many, if not most, of the tires on cars now are over 16 inches.
oh, okay.
So we probably should tuck something in there.
It's
Well,
really any tire, not just car tires.
Right.
so it's over 16 inches is $5.
Currently,
Yes.
Yep.
But we didn't increase that.
so we probably should, as a suggestion. If you go up $1 on under 16 and under, go up $1 on 16 and over.
Okay. Any thoughts? Anybody have any thoughts?
I agree with that.
Under demolition, I mean, it's difficult to calculate, but the best calculation that we could come up with is that it costs at least $100 for a pickup load for us to get rid of it. So we're saying that for a 6.5-foot truck bed would be $100, for an 8-foot truck bed it'd be $150, and then $50 per yard.
That would be like in a dump truck.
Yeah, we'd go by the yard on a dump truck,
Yeah.
but, an 8-foot bed, I believe, holds 3 to 4 to, about 4 yards, which most of the private small dump trucks hold. Around.
I'm looking for my calculations here.
Now, would that count for shingles too? And this-
So,
or we'd have a separate
we
one
did
for
a,
shingles?
weight check, and shingles actually weigh less than sheetrock.
So,
And so it's, if somebody brings up shingles, or the way it was written was, I think they were on the same, everything was on the same thing, but, I think that's why we discussed not to just do demolition as a whole, based per
I mean,
yard
it's just,
price.
it's hard for
because-
us to base things on weight, cause we don't have scales.
Right, and they mix, a lot of it's not just shingles, or,
Right.
and if it's just shingles or just sheetrock's gonna be more expensive. You know, shingles are gonna be heavy, but they also don't soak up the water and such, so
Yeah,
to try to just keep it like kind of across the board.
I was just thinking, cause most of the time, like, when a roofer does a roof, it's straight shingles, so it is that where like, you're right, sometimes there is just straight loads of sheetrock, but lots of times that's gonna be super mixed, where like shingles, well, probably just gonna be a load of straight.
Yeah, but
Yeah.
are you gonna get into that fine line
Right.
also of, well, you're a roofer with shingles, you're gonna pay more than the carpenter with
Sheetrock.
sheetrock and 2x4s. I think you might come into an issue
Yeah, no,
with
I,
that.
Also with roofers, they also would replace plywood and the paper and the flashing and, you know, it might not just be straight shingles. So I think doing this is a much easier way to try to
Capture as much as you
capture as
can.
much as you can, yeah.
An 8-foot pickup truck bed is 2.5 to 3 yards, and the 6.5 is 2 yards.
Right.
So, anyway, this is our suggestion. We're also proposing increases for mattresses and the upholstered couches and chairs. Everything was just $5 across the board. And I did review these with Ken, and he has no objections. Any questions on those?
And also, just to back us up to the last meeting, we did check and the mattresses are in demo. So
They
Yeah.
put in demo,
so they
So the
tend to
lane is
be
soaking
very
up
heavy,
water,
yeah,
yeah.
exactly.
not heavy initially, but
They're probably heavier than your shingles. Thank you.
And then under computers, we just increased laptops and personal, what's CPU?
Central processing unit,
Yeah. Desktop.
like the tower
$5.
part of the computer.
Oh, okay. And, this was a difference, Kenny suggested, so we, investigated how much it costs us to get rid of these these liquid wastes. And the paint-related material was, close to $6 a gallon, and what they're calling non-regulated liquids was about $4 a gallon. But Kenny would just like to go $6 across the board for everything,
that's easy.
instead of having 6 and 4.
That makes sense.
It's very expensive for us to get rid of those liquid wastes.
And the downstream people, it gets more, further it goes downstream, the more expensive it gets. They gotta handle it, store it,
So-
recycle it maybe.
I'm sorry, was that a question? Oh. So those are the fees that we're proposing. I called this kind of a first review. And then we can get it typed up in a formal way and approved at the next meeting. But I wanted to know if there are any questions or concerns, comments.
So you don't recommend we raise the current fee for solid waste bags? Is it still $1 and $2?
We're not making that recommendation, but certainly it's up for discussion. I mean, at some point, we probably should, but when you look at, when we compared it to other towns, let's see, I'm trying to find here. North Haven is the same, Islesboro is just $1.
they have their own bags.
Rockland is for a small bag, $2, and a 30-gallon, $2.75. So there are some that are higher, but the average of the 5 communities that we looked at was $1.40 for the small bag and $2.35 for the 30-gallon. So we didn't recommend a change, but certainly it's,
So Alsboro they have their own bags, but they still have to pay $1 to dispose of them. Interesting. And contractor bags, I mean, I think we should have contractor bags. I think we should have $3 or $4 on them, they hold a lot of,
They may, I don't, that would be a Kenny question, if how much he charges for a contractor bag. I just didn't have it on our price list.
okay.
Yeah, I don't know,
I don't
I'm
know.
just guessing that he charges the 2. But
I have no idea.
Yeah,
I'm not sure.
I think we should charge more
How many,
than
do
that.
we have numbers on how many bags we,
I don't have a number of bags.
Bags.
I do
it's a weight.
I shouldn't say I do it anymore, Elizabeth does it for me. We know each month how much MSW and how much demo by weight and how much revenue we collect, but that isn't what you're looking for.
well, kind of, I was just wondering what, cause like the dump is always a money coster. If we raised the bag fees, you know, if we went to $2.50 or whatever, how much would that make up, you know, to offset the demo where we take the biggest hit?
Some of the lost, you mean?
That's what,
Yeah.
you know, like we could, you know, instead of, you know, raising this, well, we'll still raise the demo, but we're raising that, you know, $50, $100 to a whack here on this. If we just went up 50 or $1 more on each bag, would that get us back in the black?
I don't know if it'll get us back in the black, but it certainly would help to have a little bit more revenue. Millie?
Also, because of the amount of people we see there after hours, we're gonna post the fence. That, is unauthorized. I can't remember how you put
Yeah,
it, but,
Something about surveillance, no unauthorized dumping,
and then we
something.
just need to start watching the
24-hour
cameras
surveillance,
a
no,
lot more, because
Yeah.
I think, I mean, it's not a make or break situation, but it certainly doesn't help, not to mention the liability of people crawling around in a lot of that debris after hours. So I think that needs to be
You mean with,
tighter.
with bags? Dumping?
People are going in dumping bags after hours. I've caught 3 people in the last week just driving by after paving.
Throwing a bag over the fence? Yeah, nice. Well, so anyway, let's go back to the fee. Current fee is $1 for a 15-gallon, 30-gallon is $2. And contractor bags, there's nothing there, so what do you folks propose?
Well, I think it was like Lizzie said, ask.
Oh,
For the contractor, yeah, we'd have to.
She just
ask
didn't
Kenny.
have that price there, cause
Right, but I'm asking you, what would you like to see more for the current fees for what we have here now? Do you wanna raise that?
yeah, I can't remember off the top of my head, we talked about another, how much does the dump lose every year? Do you have that?
how much do they lose?
I think we're usually in the red by quite a bit, I can't remember the exact amount.
So we,
And contractor bags, I think we should put a price, put something on contractor bags,
I'm
definitely.
not sure if I'm understanding your question, but, do you mean in terms of between what we collect and what the budget is?
Yeah, weren't we like 36,000?
I don't recall.
And Lizzie thinks
The
that
I'm
he
sorry.
does charge for contractor bags, she just doesn't know how much.
The
I'm
trans,
not sure.
the transfer station budget is 493,000 and we only collect about 180.
You could go up $75 a bag and we still.
Still,
But
it's
still
gonna
not.
say, it's gonna be.
Yeah,
But I
So-
definitely think we could look at, 50 cent per bag. And then contractor bags, that holds, a contractor bag, you can get two 30-gallon bags in a contractor bag. Because they don't split open, I mean, they're pretty rugged. Nellie?
Thank you. And also, you know, the demo is wide open, so it gets rained in and everything else. If there was, you know, if there was a way to cover that over at night, or, you know, a way to put something over it to lessen the amount of rain that goes into it, that's gonna probably save you more money than it would to
Right.
You mean
So
the
what,
demo trailer?
what would you,
Sorry.
what would they say if you wanted, a tarp put over at night? That would go over like,
I mean, I don't think it matters, it's about what needs to be done, it's, you
But
know,
a
if we
tarp-
put a tarp over that at night, or some kind of a rolling tarp
Right.
system or something. I mean, if it comes down to the amount of weight that the rain does change, I think it's worth
I think it's worth,
looking at.
yeah.
so do they, when they bring those containers over, do they, do you have a choice of being able to get one that has one of those roller type covers?
No, those
They
are on
bring
the
what they,
truck.
I'm sorry?
Those are on the truck themselves.
Oh, I see, okay, that's how much I know about dump stuff.
Just looked it up, the average contractor bag is 42 gallons.
Okay, so anyway, so a tarp would definitely, they could roll a tarp over it. And,
And I think we could come up with some kind of a system, there's gotta be something out there
right,
to make it an easy process, because obviously it would not be a
Oh, no,
simple thing to do, but
no,
there's,
no,
I mean, they've got pool rollers and everything else, there's gotta be something that we can
right,
come up with to,
so that's,
I'm on it.
okay. So anyway, I wanna go back to the contractor bags, we'll find out from Kenneth what he charges, but I think we should,
Document it,
I'm sorry,
document it here, whatever, what he.
whatever you,
what he-
whatever
what he
you would
charges,
think, yeah.
Yep.
We're gonna bring this back up next meeting, so you can find out in the meantime what Kenneth charges, what they charge for the contractor bag, and then we can decide if he charges the same, or,
Sounds good.
But
Peyton?
leave the 15 and 30 gallon at 1 and 2, is that what you're saying?
well, I don't know, I suggested if you thought we should go up 50 cents, I mean, how long have these been this
Oh, boy.
price? Forever,
2019.
okay. So I don't see why we couldn't put them up 50 cents.
Payne has a question.
What's that?
Yeah.
Oh, Peyton, I'm sorry.
Could we do something maybe in the realm of per gallon per bag? Do you think we could charge with something more like a per gallon, so like 10 cents a gallon, there'd be a 42 contractor bag, it'd be $4.20, and then like a 30 gallon would be $3, and then a 15 would be $1.50.
I don't understand, we don't have any way to weigh them.
No, like if there's
Because
of the size of
15
the
gallon
bag.
bag, it would be 10 cents a gallon in the bag, and it'd be $1.50.
Going on
So
the
that would
gallon
put the-
bag.
That would put
Yeah.
the gallon back, the 30 gallon up to $3.
Yeah.
It's kinda like doing the same thing that we looked at doing with the demo.
Yep. Well, let's discuss it when we find out what's going on with the, contractor bags.
So the suggestion was
Either
150,
either
130,
50,
3,
and
either-
420. Sorry, Pam.
okay. Is that all right with you folks?
Yeah.
Okay,
good suggestion.
so we'll figure that out next meeting. Any other questions on that?
So we'll prepare something a little more formal with those recommendations. do we wanna have another review, or do you wanna try
No,
to finalize it next time?
Yeah, I think we just figure out the solid waste lines
Solid
to
waste.
see what we wanna do, but the rest of them, you think,
Which line is that?
Household waste.
Solid
the
waste?
solid waste is at the top.
Also, the bags.
Oh, I'm sorry, yeah.
So, anyway, the only other one that we changed, oh no, there were two, $6 for non-regulated liquids and $6 for tires 16 inches and over. Those are the only two that we've,
Mattresses, chairs.
no, I'm talking about what we
tonight.
just did
Tonight.
Other
tonight.
than what you guys already suggested.
Okay,
All right, and then we'll discuss the other solid
Do an
waste.
updated
Yep.
spreadsheet and
Yep, is that
get
okay?
ready.
All righty. Sounds good. Yeah, that's good. Good first review. Thanks for the suggestions, guys. And we'll move on to 10, report of town manager.
so as Melly pointed out earlier, the old engine 4 is up at the Public Works Department now. And I'll just, in terms of insurance, I'm just gonna change it from Fire Department to Public Works. Is there any objection to that? Okay. And then in terms of the deputy rental, Jared did buy a house, so I've been corresponding with Jane Sullivan that we had a lease with, and she's gonna, that lease will end at the end of July. So we'll get what am I trying to say, the security deposit back. So, anyway, I just wanted to let you know.
Good, I wondered how long we'd have to be paying for an empty house, so,
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
And then I went to the Ferry Advisory Board meeting, that was on June 26th. I don't know if I think I gave you all
Yes.
a memo about it. There wasn't a lot that was astounding. Of course, we always get a financial subcommittee report. The ridership numbers increased 2.55% overall for the period January to June compared to the previous year. And just for the month of April, it increased 8%. As we all know, the new tariff 11 went into effect on June 1st. I had not really heard any comments about the increase in fares. I don't know if you all have had,
Everybody growls, but
holy
there's
cow, that's
nothing you can do.
expensive.
I
Yeah,
mean, you gotta pay
It's
it,
expensive.
whether you like it or not.
I guess no news is good news on the status of the vessels. The Captain E. Frank Thompson had the hull exam complete and back in service to Vinalhaven. Upcoming COI is August 7th. The Richard Spear is on the Vinalhaven run as the island boat, COI complete. Hull exam is scheduled for September, so everything, fingers crossed for the summer. And then they did give us a legislative review of all those bills that were going through the legislature this last session. The LD 280, an act to establish lifetime ferry passes for retired Main State Ferry Service employees, that passed as amended. I was surprised, but they did limit the number of car tickets that they could actually get, and you had to have worked for the ferry service for at least 15 years and be retired under Main State Retirement System. So they did make some amendments, but it passed. LD 841, an act to study the delivery of emergency medical services to the ferries and ferry service impacts on island communities, that passed. LD 1231, an act requiring ferries to dock overnight on certain islands for emergency purposes, that passed as amended. And LD 1186, a resolve directing the Department of Transportation to study the feasibility of ferry service to Monhegan. I was also surprised that that passed. Any questions about the ferry advisory board meeting? I think that's all I have.
Okay. Report of members. Tom,
I'm good, thank you.
Lad,
I'm good.
Peyton,
Oh, yeah, I'm good.
Leslie?
I'm good.
Okay, and number 12. Oh, before I go to adjourn, our next meeting is July 15th. And I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor? Thank you. There.